Ready to feel old?
Uh-oh.
10 years ago today, on Thursday, May the 5th, 2016, the very first public screenings of Marvel Studios' Captain America: Civil War hit movie theaters. What began as an ideological rift over superhero accountability quickly escalated into a story of deeply personal tragedy, cementing its legacy as one of the most narratively ambitious and emotionally heavy chapters in the entire MCU. Functioning as a sort of Avengers 2.5, the film introduced audiences to Tom Holland's Spider-Man and to Chadwick Boseman's Black Panther in the same film, while delivering the legendary airport battle that to this day I believe is the gold standard for action sequences in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Bro.
By dismantling the Avengers' unity, Civil War laid the tragic but essential groundwork for the stakes of Infinity War and Endgame, proving that the ultimate threat to Earth's mightiest heroes wasn't an alien conqueror, but their own broken trust. Now, beyond its staggering cultural impact, Civil War was a box office juggernaut, raking in an incredible $1.15 billion worldwide during its theatrical run. And today, a decade later, the movie still holds its ground as a historic financial triumph, currently sitting at number 32 on the all-time box office list and ranking as the 10th highest grossing superhero film of all time. 10 years on, the debate of Team Cap versus Team Iron Man still sparks a lot of debate, proving that Civil War didn't just break the bank, it set a high watermark for interconnected storytelling that the rest of the industry is still trying to play catch up with. 10 years ago, Rob. You know, when I think about the greatest superhero films of all time, my top three are, in no particular order, Dark Knight, Logan, and the original Avengers movie. But in the top five for me is Civil War. I think it is simply one of the greatest comic book movies ever made. When you look back now on Civil War 10 years later, what do you think of it now, 10 years on, about its legacy, its importance to the MCU as a whole, and where does it sit for you in like the overall pantheon of the great comic book movies?
You know, I talked about this a couple months back. I don't know why, but I just threw it on to watch it. And what struck me, that whole opening scene, you know, when they're going after, was it Remlo or whatever, or Skull and Bones? I forget which one. Somebody from Winter Soldier. Crossbones. They're going after Crossbones. That opening scene is so beautifully staged, where you have Cap and Falcon and you have Wanda, you know, going after this
trying to
elixir.
Get this virus thing, whatever it was. Yeah.
It is, you know, it's the Russo brothers' second film. The action, and I understand they have second unit directors. I get it. But that whole opening sequence is so brilliantly mounted. It's as good an action scene as you'll see in almost any movie. And the action geography of where people are, because a lot of the time in our modern age, like you look at a movie like Snake Eyes, when it's not well choreographed and it's not well directed, they resort to shaky cam and quick cutting to hide this film is so assured in its direction. And, you know, like every great action sequence, you are following our characters. You never don't know where you are. It's a really brilliantly mounted sequence. And then after that, it becomes compelling drama. I mean, like you said, that they take the Civil War storyline from the comics, they change it, but the central idea is great. And to make Steve Rogers the outlier, to make him the one that doesn't believe in governmental control and go with Tony Stark saying, no, we need to be regulated, is such a great, I mean, I know they got that from the comics, but it's such a great, they play it up so well. And I love the ensemble. I mean, again, this is why I'm deliriously excited for Doomsday. Because the Russo brothers, when they're cooking with Feige, and they've got, I mean, they don't have Marcus and McFeely back to write. They've got one of them back, but they got another great writer. They know how to combine action and character. And that's where the Marvel Cinematic Universe is at its best. And they know how to do it. And this film is a great example of that. When you take your little detour to Queens, you know, and Stark is meeting Aunt May, and you meet Spider-Man for the first time.
What an amazing introduction for the character.
You know, and they were going to cut that scene. And Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr. said, no, You know, because that was like the audition scene. That's like a mini movie unto itself, and it began their relationship. It's delightful.
What's great
And then
about
we,
it
we
is
meet Black Panther too.
what's great about it is it's the pacing. It's a masterclass in pacing
Oh.
because you actually forget Spider-Man is in the movie because of when it comes in. When you see Queens, you're like, oh my God, I forgot.
Right.
And I've seen that movie so many times, and every time I forget.
You're absolutely right. I mean, and you know what? I think Baron Zemo, people are like, well, maybe he's not Darth Vader, but he wins. He won. He tore the Avengers apart. They're not back together at the end of that movie. And then we get to see him dance later. And
One of the great memes of the
Man.
of our
I mean,
generation.
dancing. And by the way, they picked the casting of the MCU. One day people will marvel again at how great those movies are cast because he was great casting. I love that guy.
Oh, Daniel Bruhl.
Yeah.
as
I mean,
Zemo?
remember him from Pulp Fiction? I mean, from Inglourious Bastards. He was great.
And did you ever see that one he did with Chris Hemsworth, the car racing?
Oh yeah,
I'm
Rush.
freezing on- yeah,
Rush.
So good.
And
Such a good
also,
film.
I mean, even T'Chaka is brilliantly cast.
Oh,
And
yeah.
of course, Chad Boseman. I mean, you introduce Black Panther and Spider-Man in one movie. That movie is dope. I love it.
I also love the fact that everything about the setup for Civil War, here's a word that fans overuse, but I think it should be used here. It was earned.
Yeah.
Because, you'd think on the one hand, Captain America, he's all about the red, white, and blue. He'd be on the side of the government. But because of the era he comes from, he's disillusioned with what America has kind of become.
Yeah.
Then Tony, the fierce
America.
independent guy, but they set it up so he has that scene at the beginning where he's faced with the consequences of their action and he really feels it. Now, at the end of the day, it still makes me laugh that there's still debate over Team Cap or Team Iron Man. Even by the end of Civil War, Tony was on Team Cap. By the end of that movie, Tony was completely on Team Cap at that point. But it set up this great ideological debate, and because it asked some really questions. If these superpowered beings were around, should there not be accountability?
Yeah.
Shouldn't they have to answer to somebody? And I just love the whole, and then it doesn't skimp on the action. It's just,
And they also do
so
a great
good.
job. There's not a lot of it, but they do a great job setting up the relationship between Wanda and Vision as well.
Yes.
That they pay off again in Infinity
That is not
War.
paprika.
Yeah. And then it goes all the way back, I mean, into WandaVision. That would not have worked. They would never have made WandaVision if the Russo brothers and Kevin Feige and Marcus and McFeely didn't do what they did in Civil War. And that legacy carries on to Vision Quest as well.
Here's the real magic of that. Here's the real magic. Because you can say, well, what they did in the comics. You get, no. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. It's in a comic book. Great. How do you make a romance between a toaster and a witch feel emotionally resonant? How do you do that? Because that's ridiculous. The whole concept is ridiculous. And yet the way they set it up, it's so sweet when they set it up, and then it pays off, of course, later with maybe the single greatest line in Marvel Cinematic Universe history with "What is grief if not love persevering?" Fuck the MCU. That's one of the great lines in all of film or television ever. I mean, they set that up so it was believable and we felt it and we loved it. And that was a near impossible thing to do.
And also, if you think about Paul Bettany's involvement, he started out as the voice of Jarvis.
Yep.
And then they had the wherewithal to bring him along and make him Vision, and he's going to get a chance to shine in Vision Quest like you can't possibly imagine until you've seen it. At least I hope that's the case.
There's a great story that Paul Bettany told. I think it was on Jimmy Kimmel. It might have been Jimmy Kimmel. Anyway, he was telling the story where he'd already done the voice of Jarvis, and he was literally walking down Hollywood Boulevard. He had just come from a meeting with a studio and another role he wasn't going to get. And he said he was on the phone with his agency that was basically telling him, your career's wrapping up here. You can't get roles.
Right.
And he said, like 5 minutes later, I got a call from Kevin Feige. He says, do you want to play the live action Vision? And he said, yes. It's such a great, you got to go find him telling that story because it was great. Anyway, guys, question is for you. First of all, can you believe it's been 10 years? 10 years from today that Civil War kind of opened up in theaters. When you think of Civil War now, what do you think about? Like, what's its legacy for you? Where does it rank for you amongst the best comic book movies? Does it even rank amongst the best for you? And what are the things that really stay with you and stand out? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.